There you go. There's your monitor engineer. Okay, what about Badlands? What was it like? Well, those guys were really good musicians, and but it just was not a good vibe in the band, to be honest with you. You know, like I know people don't always want to hear I don't want to sound negative or bad about it, but it just was, it was one of those things where I thought, and some people thought the band had a lot of potential, but unfortunately it was one of those very self-destructive kind of situations. You know, and it's just too bad because there was a lot of support from the record label originally, and a lot of money put into the band originally from the label and all these different things. But it just, a couple of people in the band had a different vision of what they thought they wanted to be, and the music business doesn't work that way. And so it became very self-destructive, and it just fell apart. And we just kind of always fought until the point where I got kicked out of the band, and they moved on with a different drummer, and then the band fell apart. Not because of me being gone, but just the whole chemistry and the whole vibe. It was destined to fall apart. It was just really, it's kind of sad because I really thought the band was good. Oh, thank you. Well, I was posing.
Can I get a picture later with you and my kid and my wife?
No problem. Whatever you need. That's what I'm here for. Okay, he goes, don't make me bring the cuffs out. My girlfriend went like that, though.
Milo?
Oh, yeah. Give me sparkling water. Like club soda or sparkling water. That bar doesn't have it? They got club soda. They don't have club soda at the bar. You gotta be kidding me. What? The monitor guy? Yeah. Don't pick on the monitor guy. He's giving me an evil eye over there. He's gonna fucking tell me. He's like over there.
I know the band did the Platinum Experiences last year. Are they going to be doing that again this year, do you know?
Those Platinum Experiences?
Yeah, they were awesome.
How much were they?
$1,000.
Now let me ask you. They were $1,000. Do you think they're going to do them again?
Yeah.
Come on. You knew the answer to that question. Let me see. They charge $1,000 per person. Would Gene do that again?
Probably.
Of course. No, honestly, all kidding aside, I'm assuming they would. I haven't heard them say if they were or not, but I think they are because I think I saw something mentioned for Australia about it. I think it mentioned it on the website, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. See, you guys know before me. I actually found out from the fans that I was back in the band. Did you? I mean, all seriousness aside, all kidding aside, before it was even actually knew that I was actually really going to go and come back and play with them, I was already advertised in the pictures and in Japan by the promoter's website. Doc McGee called me up and I'm like, you got my picture on the website in Japan saying I'm the drummer. He's like, well, I'm like, and it wasn't even agreed upon me going back to the band at that time. That's what was so funny.
How you doing, Eric?
All right, you might stay away from the front of those speakers there.
How did it make you feel? What was your reactions the first time you ever sat behind the drums to play for the hottest band in the world?
Back in '92? First time I ever played with the band was in San Francisco at the Stone, which was a club, because we did a little 12-city club tour. I was just like I am now. I wasn't nervous one bit. Gene, Paul, and Bruce, I'll never forget the first gig I ever did. They were all nervous backstage, and I'm just walking around like I am now. I was like playing, totally calm and relaxed. And I remember seeing them guys, like, how come you guys are nervous? I'm the one that should be nervous, and So it was, to me, the one thing that prepared me, because I already had been playing with a lot of different bands and had a lot of experience. So experience is what teaches you and prepares you for situations like that. So it was, to me, I don't want to diminish it by saying it wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal because, I was prepared. We had rehearsed. I knew what I was doing and what I was going to do, so it wasn't a big deal. What's nerve-wracking is when you go into a situation and you don't know what the hell you're doing, because then you're like, I will admit, the first time I did a gig in makeup, then I actually was nervous, I'll admit, because I had never played. I had worn the makeup only for a photo session. I had never actually played physically or rehearsed with the makeup on. And the first show we did in Tokyo, I think it was, or was it Yokohama? That was my first time ever going up on the drum risers and doing all that. We didn't practice any of that, so my first time doing it was my first time for everybody. I mean, not just the fans. So I was a little bit keyed up those first couple gigs. By the third gig, and I was fine. And it was like became a little bit more natural, second nature.
My question is, what are some of the clubs you played at in Cleveland when you lived there?
Clubs like Fantasy on the west side, the Agora. I'm trying to remember what other places there were. There were some other places across from the Fantasy. I forget the name of that place. It was like a little Irish. I think it had Irish name. I don't remember the name of it. There weren't that many clubs really to play because I only played in original bands. I started off playing in my father's band. My dad was a band leader, and we played like weddings and parties and stuff. And sometimes we would actually the last year before I moved to California, I played at the Cleveland Stadium for the Browns. I used to play in the band at the football games in 1983. So, but for rock bands stuff, I only played in original bands. So I did not play like cover top 40 bands ever, which everybody else did. Most of my friends did that kind of thing. So that's why I really didn't play that many clubs at all.
Do you have any plans to get back with Alice at all?
Do I have any plans to get back with Alice? Not right now because I'm going to go do this. So, I mean, I've been in and out working with Alice on and off. I mean, I have a really good relationship with him and with the whole organization. So, I mean, you never know. Right now, they just got a different drummer, and you know, if in the future I'm not doing anything and they need a drummer, I hope that the door's open. I mean, it definitely is for me on my end, but I would hope that the door stays open so I could go back and work with him if possible, because I really like playing those songs and I like working with Alice. I love old Alice Cooper music. I mean, I don't just say that, you know, because it sounds good. I mean, I actually really do. $1 Billion Babies is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's definitely in my top 10 list, absolutely.
Hello, Eric.
How you doing?
All right, I met you twice already. It's the third time.
Is third time the charm?
I spoke to Bruce a couple years ago in Indianapolis, and I asked him, did he ever have any technical snafu on stage in front of the crowd? And he said he ran into Gene one time, you know, on stage. I wonder if you had any, you fall off the drum set or anything like that.
Snafus? I'm trying to think. Well, a couple times I've hurt myself. One time we were playing here, actually in Cleveland, with Alice Cooper. We were playing at Richfield Coliseum, and like on the first or second song, I hit my hand on the cowbell, which was really sharp on my pinky finger, and I cut it right down to the bone, and it just bled the whole show, and it wouldn't stop bleeding. And anyone that's seen an Alice Cooper show, Alice is unlike any other band because he doesn't talk to the audience, ever. So there's never in between the song where he can stop and go, hey, how are you guys doing? Hey, Cincinnati, and introducing them. He doesn't do that. It's one song goes into the next, bang, bang, bang. So I had to play the whole show bleeding, and I mean, my hand was literally completely red in blood. And finally, at the end of the set, before the encore, we finally were able to wrap a towel in my hand, get the blood off, and then put some kind of tape around it, because I tried handing my hand back to the drum tech any opportunity I got to try to see if he could put tape on it or something, but it was so bloody, there was no time. So I played the whole show bleeding, and then right after the show they took me to the emergency, and I went and got stitched up and got 6 stitches in it. And I did the same thing once on tour with Gary Moore. I hit my hand so hard on the snare drum, the edge of the drum, that blood just went shooting out from underneath my fingernail, and I had a white drum set at the time. So it was all red spotted, and I hit it so hard that my fingernail fell off like a week later.
Oh my God!
Because to this day I still don't have all the feeling back in the tip. That was 1987, because I hit it just so hard that it like damaged it. And that happened. We were doing a video, a live concert video. It's Gary Moore live at Stadion, which was in Stockholm. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. There's a live video live from Stockholm from '87 tour, and this happened the week before we were going to film it, and I couldn't bend my finger because it was so sore. I had to play with my finger sticking out for the next week, until it finally kind of went down, the swelling. So I've had some on-the-job accidents virtually while I'm playing.
So you weren't throwing your sticks around at that time then, right?
I wasn't what?
Were you throwing your sticks around while you play?
No. Well, I was doing it, but that's not how it happened.
Well, I'm saying...
It just happened for like just, you know...
Yeah.
I don't know, just an accident. You know, that's why they're called accidents.
Cool.
One of the funniest things I remember, we were playing in Atlanta in 1990 with Alice on the Trash Tour, and when I went to do sound check, right over the drum riser was this rope hanging down, and so I stood on my drum seat, and I go, oh, wouldn't it be funny, because Alice used to hang himself on stage. I said, oh, wouldn't it be funny, we should hang the drummer, so I wrapped the rope around my neck like a noose, and I was like goofing around. Well, the chair slipped out from under my feet, so I literally like started choking myself, and my drum tech had to come up and help me, and I actually bruised my neck and my esophagus, you know, windpipe, and it actually hurt for about a week after that, because I actually fell and like almost, you know, here I was goofing around thinking I was being funny, and actually hurt myself.
Don't do that anymore.
No. That was like stupid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have time for maybe one more?
Oh, yeah, plenty more. Yeah.
I know it's not your gear or anything, but do you think you could play a few chops for us?
No, not today. Not playing today. I've learned in the past, don't play on stuff that's not your own, because it's... Drum set is not like a guitar. Pretty much every guitar is the same. You pick it up, but drums are different. It's because of all the angles and stuff, and it's just... I just found that if it's not your stuff, it doesn't work.
How you doing, Eric? Thanks.
Fun. How you doing?
Listen, just two questions real quick. Does Paul and Gene, they even talk to Ace anymore? Do you know?
I have no idea.
No.
I haven't talked to Ace myself. I tried calling Ace a few times last year when I was on tour with Alice, and to invite him to the show. We played New York City, the Beacon Theater, and I invited him to come down to the show, and he got message back to me that, oh yeah, I'm coming down, and then he never came down, and he never called me back, so I just figured, okay, whatever. You know, maybe he just wants to kind of stay away from everybody and everything for a while and get his life together. And hey, I wish Ace the best. I like Ace. I loved playing with him. I had a great time and get along with him really good. And you know, I had a good, you know, some great laughs playing with him. You know, really, I mean, that guy's a piece of work, I tell you. They broke the mold on that one, and he's definitely a lot of fun. You know, he's, you know, I guess doing his own thing, and I wish him the best whatever he does.
Also, have they been in talks or anything, maybe record an album with you and Tommy at all, a studio album, if it would come up?
Oh, you know, I haven't said anything to them, and they haven't said anything to me, but I know that I've heard the same thing you guys have heard, you know, that they probably have, I'm sure they're thinking about it, would like to, but whether that happens, I don't know. Gene did a solo record. I know that's coming out, I think, in a couple months, and Paul's working on a solo record now. I played on a couple songs on Gene's solo record. Paul hasn't asked me to play on his record yet, and I don't know if he's going to either, but, you know, we'll see. But as far as a KISS record, I don't know. I mean, I think they should, but I think they need to like do kind of like, you know, go back to the roots and just do a straight ahead rock record. I don't know if anyone's heard Alice Cooper's last record, The Eyes of Alice Cooper, and that's like just a regular straight ahead, you know, bare bones rock record. We did that. We basically set up in a warehouse the whole band and just played live, and that's how that record was done. And I think it's kind of a, you know, it's one of the cooler records Alice has done in a while, and I think that's kind of like the right way to go about making a record. You kind of sometimes have to forget about all the, you know, fluff and stuff, and just go in there and just play like you did in the old days.
I got a question. I was going to ask you about like your favorite venue. Do you like to play big arenas or do you like to play smaller clubs?
I like playing anywhere. To me, you know, the only thing that matters to me is if the room sounds good or if it feels good to play in the room where you really enjoy playing, you know, when you hit your drums and it just, you know, every place is different. Sometimes it's really difficult to play and it's a lot of work, so, and then other nights it's just like really enjoyable. So for me, that's the most important thing. And if the crowd is really good, like some cities and some places the crowds are just more intense. Like South America, those fans are crazy. They're so intense down there and very passionate, and they go nuts. So sometimes that can, you know, you can feed off that energy, because that's what it really is. It's an exchange of energy between the people on stage and the audience, and they can, just like you can inspire them, they can inspire you. So that's what it's all about to me. It's like how intense the crowd is, and if the venue sounds good, I don't care about the size. Because a few hundred people can be so intense and amazing, and where sometimes you can play in a big crowd and it's like, like LA, and they do this. It's like impress me, because some people are so spoiled there, they've seen everything. There's always a concert almost every night of the week, or, you can go to a restaurant and Robert De Niro can be eating at the table next to you, and people after a while become kind of jaded and numb to it, and they're like, whatever, Like I went to the Lakers game last Friday, and I went with my girlfriend, and we're looking around with, I always bring binoculars, and, we're looking to see what celebrities are all there, and there's always, people like that, it's very common, where if you went to a Bengals game, you're not going to see Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like I went to a Laker game last year, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was sitting, I was in a suite, and he was there with his wife and kids, sitting right next to us, and, that doesn't happen in Cleveland, or Kansas City. It's just not common. No. I think I was with Tommy Thayer, if I remember. And I went in there, and his wife Maria she goes, "Hi, I'm Maria." I go, "Yeah, I know." And Arnold kept one. I think they have 3 kids. He kept taking one at a time, the kids down to the court side to sit right on the court. Then he'd come back and bring another one down back. So he kept going up and down. That was before he was the governor.
Hi, Eric. Anthony Yates, Boonville, Indiana. It's nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you.
When I met Gene back in, was it December 9th, he did an in-store in Louisville, Kentucky. He fielded like 5 or 6 questions at that point in time. I asked him about an official release of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park on DVD. Has he mentioned anything that's going to be released, either his that you know of?
I have no idea about that. I mean, you got to remember, I only saw them, when I saw them on Wednesday, that's the first time I'd seen Gene in almost a year, or even talked to him in almost a year. I hadn't even seen him or talked to him, and since last May, when he did a solo record, I went in the studio and did a couple tracks, and that's the last time I'd even talked to him or seen him. I mean, those guys do their own thing all the time. That's just the way it is, And unless they're doing something together, that's pretty much the only time I ever see them, I mean, when you're on tour, then of course you see each other every day, and then you interact. But when everyone's home, people just do their own thing. They got families and kids, and Gene, like I said, Gene's busy buying china, and and whatever else he's doing,
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. What else we got? Anybody? Down here in the front, Ken.
I want to know what you thought of the Aerosmith tour.
I didn't see it.
One thing I didn't like about the tour is Saliva opened up for KISS and Aerosmith. It took a lot of time away from KISS.
Well, no, KISS and Aerosmith each got 75 minutes. I mean, that's the way. When you do those kind of tours, you each get a slot, and that's what you get, and that's the way it works. So it's nobody taking time from away from anybody else. That's just the way it's agreed upon and arranged by promoters and by the band. So that was what they decided to do,
It's going to be 2 bands this year, or 3? It's going to be an opening act?
3, I think. I don't know what, something, I'm not sure who it's all going to be yet, because, everything's subject to change, and, somebody might agree to do the tour, and then all of a sudden at the last minute get another offer or decide to do something different, and then it changes, But I don't know how long I don't know how long KISS's set is going to be. Probably, I would imagine like an hour and a half, 90 minutes. KISS is going to headline, yeah.
Hi, this is PJ. My question is, of the bands that are out now, what are some of your favorite groups you like to listen to?
Of newer bands?
Yeah, newer bands.
Well, I always like Foo Fighters, although they've been around now for a few years. I like Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age. I like bands that are rock and roll bands that sound kind of. I like Audio Slave a little bit. I think. I don't like the Darkness. They opened up for Alice Cooper last year in Europe. I didn't care for them. I mean, I like the fact that they're at least a rock band, but I didn't care for. That's not my cup of tea. Godsmack's so cool. I like them.
Nickelback.
Actually, their production manager just called me this morning. He was my drum tech before the production manager for Godsmack. Yeah, they're good. They got cool riffs. Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
Who said it's the last question?
Is it the last question?
No.
Okay. Wanna keep going?
Yeah. Okay. I'm intoxicated with the sound of my own voice. No, that was Gene. That's Gene. I'm sorry. What's up, Gene?
Hey, Eric. Welcome back. And I was wondering, I'm not a musician, so forgive me if I use the wrong terms here, but in 90...
I'm not either. I'm a drummer, so...
Okay. Well, I guess you played with like 2 bass drums in the Revenge tour.
Yeah.
And will you get to do that with this coming tour?
I'm not sure. I just got a new drum set. It was actually posted on... Steve, is it on the website or only the German website? My new drum kit, did you put it on the website? The pictures and stuff, that guy drums boots. Yeah. Drum boot. Oh, the guy from Pearl, Gene? Okay. The chrome one, the new drum kit. Okay. Yeah, I just had a new drum kit made. It's all chrome, so, which I think will look cool because when the lights hit, it'll just be like a big giant mirror. But the kit I got made with a lot of tom-toms and with double bass. But whether I use double bass, I don't know. I want to use double bass kit because that's what I think. I mean, some people think it's more like the purest kind of like 70s vibe to have that. I don't know. I don't think it matters at this point, but that's not my choice, you know. So we'll see. So that's yet to be decided. All the equipment just got shipped to Australia on Friday. So basically, I got the new drums. We took them and put them into the road cases, and I haven't even set them up. So we'll see when we get down there what happens.
Hi, Eric. How you doing?
What's happening?
A friend of mine, he's the guy who, Universal Percussion.
Yeah.
He sent me.
Oh, you're the guy. Okay, how you doing?
He said he sent you my business card.
No, he just not business. Somebody sent me. I talked to Jim Bickley.
Yeah.
But you're friends with Tom.
Tom, yeah. He's
Right.
a buddy of mine.
Right.
But,
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a question. Seeing how you're the drummer and Peter Criss is the original drummer, do you guys have any kind of animosity, or do you guys get along?
I've never talked to Peter other than when I met him at MTV Unplugged. You know.
Okay.
So I don't really know Peter, and I don't have any animosity. I mean, you'd have to ask him how he feels about me, but I can't answer that. But I can only tell you how I feel. It doesn't matter to me either way. I mean, to me, I play drums for a living, and this is what I do. If somebody asks me, it's like a job. If somebody asks me to play, I mean, I make the choice, and you got to take all the heat that goes with it, and all the good things that go with it. But you know, I can't help how somebody else feels. That's their choice, you know. But I got no problem. Where are you going? Oh, we got plenty of time now. Okay, don't worry. About one more. How about a couple more questions? 2 more. All right, 2 more questions. He's cut me off here over here. What's up with that, Alan? Hey, how about a big thank you to Alan and Karen? They're the ones that put this on. And also my support team, Keith LaRue and Steve Sturwald. Those guys always help me out all the time with things. And my personal manager, Keith LaRue. For future bookings with me, you can just contact Keith LaRue. Right, Keith, where are you? Keith? Keith, hey. I told him for future bookings, just contact Keith LaRue, my personal manager. Who? Hey, Brian Streeter, yeah. Where's he at? I didn't see. Where are you, Brian? Oh, he's back there. Oh, he's like Thing. I just see a hand. Okay. And Alan. Hey, Alan Tate, how you doing? Nice to see you guys. How you doing, Brian? Good. Nice to see you, too. See, some of these people I've seen forever and a day. I mean, I've known them for so long, it seems. It's like a little family of sorts. Hey, there's Joshua LaRue. Look at that kid.
Hey Eric, how you doing?
All right, man. What's up?
Great. It's great seeing you.
Thank you.
Coming back.
I know it's great seeing me too. I know. Thank you. I saw myself this morning when I got him. It was great.
Oh yeah, I imagine. Yeah. But now the whole animosity question. That's not what I was going through. When you and Peter were playing the drum thing together. Was it a great high, like a natural high? I mean, because I seen you both jamming together, and it was just like, for me, just mind-blowing, you know?
Really?
Oh, yeah, it was excellent.
Well, I didn't have that kind of experience. That sounds like you were on acid. I'm just kidding. No, actually, it was a very cool thing to do. Peter was very gracious and very nice. Everybody was cool, but it was for me. It was cool because I'd never played. I always liked bands that did the double drummer thing, like Allman Brothers or 38 Special. Not Grateful Dead, but I like the idea of two drummers, so I had never gotten to do that before. That was the first time for me, so it was a unique experience. Since then, I've done it with Roger Taylor and with Queen a couple of times. Got to play double drummers, so it's kind of a unique thing. I never got to really do it where the two drummers could really rehearse and practice together and spend time to really work the parts out. But I'd like to do that one day because I think that would be really cool to really do everything in unison and have it really dialed in. But, what you have to do is you have to just make sure you're open. You have to really listen and watch each other to make sure you don't kind of step on each other's toes. But Peter and I were real cool about that. We just tried to play real basic and we put, we tried to pick and choose, like, okay, you're going to take the fill in this spot or I'll take it there, just so we didn't, get in each other's way, and it worked out fine.
He's coming this way because of the cabinets.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, you?
I'm okay.
All right. Hey, this is like kind of going back to his question before about were you nervous, playing with KISS and this big whole thing. This is more like on a personal level. I mean, obviously you're an accomplished drummer. You've played with all kinds of people and you do a great job every time you do it. What's it like for you personally, if you had to quit right now, look back at your life and go, wow, I got the phone call from KISS, all these people that I've played with. How's that feel? I mean, for an Ohio Midwestern guy to be where you are right now.
Well, I feel blessed and very, but I will put it this way. I feel very blessed and honored, but I also worked really hard as well. I mean, it's like anything. Nobody just knocked on my door and handed me, said, here's the keys to the kingdom or something. Go, here you go. I mean, life doesn't work that way. I mean, I started off the same as everybody else. I mean, I moved to California 20 years ago, and I didn't know a single musician or a single person, and I just, worked my way, getting in a band, and, found somehow I don't believe that there's luck. They say luck is really just timing meets preparedness, or preparedness meets opportunity. If an opportunity presents itself, you got to be prepared to take advantage of that, and I think I was able to do that in some cases. But there's times I've auditioned for bands I didn't get the gig, like I remember auditioning for Whitesnake back in 85, was it 86 or something, and I didn't get the gig. There's other situations where I was asked to be in bands and I didn't do it because I thought I was going to do something else, and the bands went out. Like I was asked to be in Cinderella when they first came out, and I didn't take the gig because I was going to be in Black Sabbath, and the Black Sabbath situation ended up falling apart, and Cinderella ended up being a multi-platinum band, and so there's times where you make choices and you go, well, I didn't make the right choice looking back, but we all know that hindsight is 20/20 in life, But I made a lot of good choices too, and I've been very fortunate to get to work with some great, like working with Brian May was to me one of my best things I ever got to do in my life. I mean, Queen still is one of my all-time favorite bands, and I got to work with one of my favorite guitar players ever. And then to get to work with Brian May and Roger Taylor together, that was so amazing for me, There's times where I'm like a kid in a candy store, I sit there and go, wow, this is cool. I mean, I went and saw all these bands as a kid, in concert, Black Sabbath, Queen, KISS, Gary Moore, all these people I saw when I was younger, and I never thought that I'd be playing with them. I remember seeing KISS on the Hotter Than Hell tour and at Akron Civic Theater, and leaning on the stage. I was standing on a chair because the theater stages were. I was standing on a chair like you're on, and I was leaning on stage. And I remember hitting Ace's platform boots with my hand on the side, and that was in 1974. I mean, I never thought that I'd be out hanging out with them and playing in a band with them 20 years later. Like I got to, or actually more than 20, 30 years later. I mean, who'd have thunk it? So, I mean, strange things happen, I guess maybe that was meant to be, because I guess when I went to see KISS, that way I would recognize them when I played with them. I don't know who it was.
Are you ready? Are you done now?
I guess I'm done.
Okay.
Well, I'm not done.
We're gonna do.
I guess you decided I'm done.
We're gonna do the drawing
for
the Eric Singer drum head.
Okay, we're giving.
Let's hear it for Eric. Not like we're not going to do this again.
Let's hear it for Steve. I like your Lakers shirt.
Let's hear it for Ken. Ken.
Is that a Lakers shirt you're wearing? No.
I was wearing it earlier. Was I in a Lakers shirt earlier? Did you guys see that, the blue shirt I was wearing? Listen to that, no.
Thank you.
He got me a blue shirt.
Okay.
He's mad 'cause I'm not
So what are we
wearing it.
doing? I guess I'll just pick a name and then I'll
Yeah, pull one out.
personalize it to him. Just